One of the biggest mistakes that I see, I'll say early entrepreneurs, because I think if you're a successful entrepreneur, then you've got some things right. But the biggest mistakes,
and it's good if you make mistakes because you learn.
yeah, that's right. If you make mistakes, you learn. That's so true. But I think vital mistakes, crippling mistakes, are the ones where people don't model after successful entrepreneurs. People they'd rather kind of blaze their own trail and march to the beat of their own drum. And now, yes, you need to do that as a successful entrepreneur to get there. You need to march to the beat of your own drum, but it's I believe it's at the beat and at the drum of someone who's gone before you. Someone who you can model after that's successful, because it just saves so much time, so much money. And sometimes people, they don't make it through, or they don't even create traction and success because they're constantly doing things their own way. So I think that has been something I've seen on both sides, where I didn't follow directions. That's why I can speak from example, and then when I followed directions or I was being led, how drastically a difference that made in the results, So.
Yeah. I think in addition to that, it probably would be the lack of patience. I think that beginning entrepreneurs especially, they just don't realize how close they could be to success or things turning around, and they just quit. And I've watched people throughout the years, especially on our journey, just quit, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I know there was challenging times in our life that we never spoke that we wanted to quit. I don't think there's a quit button in us, but just the feelings of like, oh, is this ever gonna happen? Or like, what, like, I mean, I don't really know exactly what everybody thinks, but I remember just thinking like, is this ever going to happen? And then just kind of snapping myself back into thought like, well, if I do nothing, it's never going to happen. And we just kept on keeping on, kept on keeping on.
Yep.
And I because of that experience, just watching people just lack patience, they're so anxious for results without putting in the work. And that's what I realized, that you might want somebody else's results, but you also have to do what they did to get those results. And it takes patience,
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is urgency, which almost sounds like a contradiction to patience, right? I believe you have to have urgency, because if not, it's just like being incongruent. You misalign, you miss steps. You miss things that otherwise obviously you wouldn't. If you were just urgent. I think that is so important to be hungry. To have that hunger and urgency.
Yeah. Success is not going to come handed on a silver platter.
No, it's not.
Well, it didn't to us anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah.